Biblical giants Nephilim believed to be alive in Solomon Islands. They can't hide this. Giant skeletons are found across Solomon Island. Island's residents reveal the hidden truth buried on the island. Evidence appears all around the world. People are terrified. They can't believe what they witnessed. What is the meaning of this? Why didn't we know about this earlier? Religious people believed there is a metaphor behind finding this shocking secret. I invite you to watch until the end of the video to know what they found on Solomon Island. Mysterious skeletal remains of what appears to be a 3,000-year-old giant have been unearthed on a South Pacific island. But the bones' discovery has rattled local archaeologists, who say poor treatment of the remains may have lost vital information. Little is known about the highly unusual find, which includes a skull bearing strange holes drilled into its cheekbones, with authorities keen to keep the controversial discovery under wraps. According to sources, the body, found at Lomaviti, an island to the north of here, predates European exploration of the Pacific, and it is believed the man was originally from the Solomon Islands. The body was discovered last week by a Solomon Islander from the University of the South Pacific, USP, alongside examples of lapita pottery, artifacts created by a group of Melanesians believed to have been the founders of modern Polynesia. Measuring 1.9 meters, 6'6", the body is unusually large considering its age and origin. Pictures of its skull show the holed cheekbones, a feature unseen in previous discoveries, according to Fiji Museum sources. The head of prehistory archaeology at the museum, Sepeti Matararaba, said the discovery of the body and pottery was significant. As for the skeleton remains, I will still have to see it. It is a significant find for us. Studies done there now would enlighten us more on the early traveling habits in those times. We have found similar pottery on neighboring islands of the group. Once they are dated, we can know the exact patterns of living and the kind of activities during those early occupations. It is really very good news. But the skeleton has already caused controversy, with experts voicing concern over its treatment at the hands of cowboy archaeologists. One senior Fiji Museum source said a relocation of the remains may have destroyed vital information, and museum experts should have been consulted earlier. These cowboy archaeologists, a bit like parachute journalists, are allowed such field trips, but by law, if they were to find something as significant as a skeleton, especially of the suspected period of existence, the museum must be informed, the senior official said. It is also only logical that our field staff, who are trained for such excavations, are informed of such developments, considering their skills and tools. Paramount, of course, is the creation and maintenance of our historical database. Patrick Nunn, the supervisor of the archaeological team analyzing the remains at USP, would not comment and said on Sunday, "We have decided to keep our find under wraps." The stories kept among residents. The native people who have inhabited the Solomon Islands for thousands of years have passed down traditions and oral stories of giants living in the land, much like many other cultures from around the world. And these people living on the island still believe that these giants exist today. The stories of the giants have many variations and interpretations, with some believing them to be benevolent creatures and others considering them dangerous and malicious. Some legends even describe giant creatures that hunt people lurking in the shadows and waiting to attack them. Marius Bourrayon is a researcher and the research director of Solomon Anthropological Expedition Trust Board Incorporated. He is one of the people involved in the investigation process regarding the true giants on the island. Bourrayon is based in Australia, but lived and worked in the Solomon Islands as a helicopter pilot and engineer. He even married a Solomon native woman and became a citizen there. During his stay, he became familiar with the island's culture and traditions, including the stories about the giants in 2010. Bourrayon published the book Solomon Island Mysteries, which contained stories from the local people, including his wife. In his research, he discovered that giants were living on the islands, and some were over 10 feet tall, He referred to these giants as Guadalcanal giants. They have long black-brown or red hair, double eyebrows, red eyeballs, flat noses, and wide mouths. Marius writes that some of the giants were killing and stealing humans from their villages. He speaks of a huge rogue killer giant that attacked the indigenous people. Many warriors died trying to slay the giant before villages had to be moved to other parts of the islands to protect their people. The Solomon Island giants are said to have social structures, and there are possibly thousands of them that inhabit Guadalcanal. To this day, they use complex cave systems to pass from one side of the island to the other without ever having to see daylight. The discovery of Victor Berg, the appointed governor during German rule in the island. When he ventured into Nan Madol in 1907, he stumbled upon a sealed tomb that was believed to contain the remains of Pompeii's ancient rulers. To his surprise, he found skeletal remains that were significantly larger than any he had seen before, indicating the presence of a race of giants standing at 10 feet tall. This discovery led Berg to wonder about the identity of these giant rulers. However, a violent storm that hit the island on the night of his discovery, accompanied by the sound of conch shells and glowing orbs in the sky, left Berg dead the next day, leading the locals to believe that Nan Madol was guarded by supernatural forces. After World War I, Japan took control of Pompeii, and they also began to investigate Nan Madol. According to remaining sources, Japanese scientists discovered that the ruins of Nan Madol, built on top of coral reefs, were just a small part of the puzzle, and that Nan Madol extended deeper into the ocean, forming an entire sunken city. It was here that the Japanese purportedly discovered massive platinum coffins on the ocean floor, which contained the remains of giant humans standing 10 feet tall when broken open, due to the loss of many Japanese records from the area during World War II. The details of Japan's rule over Pompeii are fragmented.
What is Nephilim? The Nephilim are mysterious beings or people in the Hebrew Bible who are described as being large and strong. Hebrew word Nephilim is sometimes translated as giants, and sometimes taken to mean the fallen ones. Their origins are disputed. Some view them as offspring of fallen angels and humans. The Nephilim, the product of the sons of God, mingling with the daughters of Adam, the great biblical giants, the fallen ones, the Rephaim, the dead ones. These descriptions are all applied to one group of characters found within the Hebrew Bible, who are the Nephilim. From where do the heroes of old, the men of renown, come? Genesis 6:1-4 tells the readers that the Nephilim, which means fallen ones when translated into English, were the product of copulation between the divine beings and human women. The Nephilim are known as great warriors and biblical giants in Ezekiel and Numbers. It was once claimed that the mating of the sons of God and the daughters of Adam that resulted in the Nephilim caused the flood, and this caused the Nephilim to have a negative reputation. This was believed because the next verse, Genesis, is the introduction to the flood narrative, and because their name means fallen ones. It is unlikely that this interpretation is correct, because Genesis 6:4 presents nothing but praise for the Nephilim, and no criticism is present. In addition, the name fallen ones is likely a reference to their divine paternity transforming, falling into the human condition, albeit an almost superhuman condition. Giants building. The idea of giants has been present in many cultures. Throughout history, from the biblical account of the Nephilim to depictions in ancient architecture and cave writings, the legends about these creatures may be a remnant of the time when fallen angels coexisted with humans, which led to the birth of the Nephilim and the subsequent appearance of giants in various parts of the world. The sheer amount of legends and stories about such beings across cultures suggests that there may be some truth to the idea of fallen angels and their influence on the world. The legend of Solomon Islands giants is only one piece of this larger puzzle. The relationship between giants and pyramids in different cultures is also an interesting topic. Many ancient societies around the world, such as those in Egypt, China, Mexico, Iran, Iraq, and Cambodia, built pyramids, suggesting that something was happening on Earth in those days. Even more intriguing, these cultures all have stories and depictions of giants. It is possible that these societies had contact with each other, and that the giants played an important role in the construction of these pyramids. Let us take, for example, the pyramids in Mexico. Missionaries in New Spain and New Hispanic historians chronicle stories, saying that in ancient times there were giants in the land now known as Mexico. They called them Tlinometzin, a term used in Mesoamerican mythology. For people of great height, the friars were looking for explanations for the large buildings dedicated to the indigenous gods. According to the Journal of Mexican Archaeology, the evangelists attributed the construction of the largest pyramids, such as that of Cholula, to the giant. The Bible gave the missionaries the idea that the creators of these great buildings could be beings like those described in biblical passages. The Goliath against which David fights or other stories where the triumph of a person is enhanced by overcoming individuals superior in size and strength. A story by Friar Andres de Olmos, famous for his work as a philologist of the indigenous groups, tells that in the palace of the first viceroy of New Spain, Antonio de Mendoza, bones of a human foot were found where each toe measured almost the palm of a hand, like the Bible. Story of Noah and the flood. The giants perished in the catastrophe of Atanatia, a great flood in the mountainous area of Tlaxcala. Another ancient megalithic structures that are believed to be built by the giants are the unbelievable structures made from enormous basalt stones in Neamadol, in the island of Pompeii. The walls are standing as high as 58 feet tall and measuring as much as 17 feet thick. Columns and buildings, all made from stone, which weigh anywhere from 5 to 50 tons, stacked in the manner in which one might construct a log cabin. Astonishingly, it has been estimated that over 750 tons of stone were used in the site's construction. The labor and effort needed to build these structures are so massive that it couldn't be done by ordinary humans. It was widely believed that this could have only been built by giants. What is the end time? To get a realistic idea of the end times, we must go to the teaching of Jesus. He told us in Matthew, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth." This passage from Jesus' Sermon on the Mount is often quoted but seldom understood. The meek are those who show the fruits of the Spirit: kindness, humility, understanding, and love towards their neighbor, are not violent, selfish, or greedy. They are the ones whose souls are healthy and who, on the death of their earthly body, will be given new bodies like that of the heavenly man. 1 Corinthians 15:42-52. Those bodies will be perfect, and neither male nor female, as they will be eternal with no need for procreation. The souls of all others will be destroyed in hell fire, so that not even a memory of them will remain. Matthew 10:28. They are the arrogant, the greedy, the violent, and all those who have denied God and the teaching of Jesus. So, in the final days of our times, the meek still on earth will be taken. In Matthew 24:39-40, that is how it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. 2 men will be in the field, one will be taken and the other left. 2 women will be grinding with a handmill, one will be taken and the other left. Those taken will be given their new heavenly bodies and transferred to another dimension to be with all those who preceded them. We are told that a barrier exists that prevents anyone crossing from one dimension to the other. In the final days, all those left on earth and all man-made structures will be destroyed, and God will create a new world where all will be aware of His presence and His love. Then the barrier between those in heaven and those on earth will be removed, so that those who had healthy souls and were given a new heavenly body, the meek, will return to inherit God's new earth. In Psalm 37:9-11. For evil men will be cut off, but those who hope in the Lord will inherit the land. A little while, and the wicked will be no more. Though you look for them, they will not be found. But the meek will inherit the land and enjoy great peace. In Psalm 37:29, the righteous will possess the earth, and they will live forever on it. Prepare for end time. Here's a prophecy from the Bible about what the world will look like shortly before the return of Christ. As you read through it, try thinking about what you'd need in order to survive it. I looked when He opened the 6th seal, and behold, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as a sackcloth of hair, and the moon became like blood, and the stars of heaven fell to the earth, as a fig tree drops its late figs when it is shaken by a mighty wind. Then the sky receded as a scroll when it was rolled up, and every mountain and island was moved out of its place. And the kings of the earth, the great men, the rich men, the commanders, the mighty men, every slave and every free man, hid themselves in the caves and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, "Fall on us and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath has come, and who is able to stand?" Revelation 6:12-17. Even if you've stockpiled enough survival rations to fill an Olympic-sized swimming pool, built a bunker that could withstand a nuclear holocaust, and hoarded enough guns and ammo to fend off the standing army of a small country. Even if you've stockpiled enough survival rations to fill an Olympic-sized swimming pool, built a bunker that could withstand a nuclear holocaust, and hoarded enough guns and ammo to fend off the standing army of a small country, it won't be enough. When the great day of his wrath has come, when the earth shakes the mountains and the islands out of place, when stars fall from heaven and the sky recedes like a scroll, when kings and slaves alike cower in fear at the judgment God is raining down on a corrupt earth, all the physical preparation in the world won't make an ounce of difference. Being prepared for the end times doesn't require exactly predicting the end times. Paul warned that the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night. 1 Thessalonians 5:2, English Standard Version. We should certainly be aware that the day of the Lord is coming, and its sudden arrival shouldn't catch us off guard. 1 Peter 5:1-5. But Jesus himself told his disciples to stay alert, "For you do not know what hour your Lord is coming." Matthew 24:42. And to be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour you do not expect. Verse 44. Just like putting together a disaster supply kit, it's important to prepare before things get bad. And just as you can refer to a checklist to assemble your own kit, you can also refer to the spiritual checklist God has provided in order to prepare for these big end-time events. He has shown you, oh man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you but to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. Micah 6:8. That's a short checklist, but it takes a lot of time to tick those boxes. You can put a disaster supply kit together in an afternoon, but doing justice, loving mercy, and walking humbly are character attributes that we can spend the rest of our lives refining and perfecting. God doesn't expect us to have perfected these attributes before the end-time events unfold. He just expects us to be diligently working on them. Every day gives us new opportunities to be doing just that. But the story doesn't end there. When God the Father and Jesus Christ set their plan in motion, they were not willing that any should perish. Peter. In the aftermath of the end-time events, the world survivors will need leadership, compassion, and guidance. We will have the privilege of providing all those things as we reign with Christ for 1,000 years. Revelation 20:4. Teaching the rest of humanity to build their own spiritual survival kits, to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with God. And one day, when the dead, small and great, verse 12, are returned to life and brought before God, we'll be there too, offering a hope for survival that stretches on into eternity. That's why we prepare for the end times, not to survive it physically, but because of the incredible future waiting for us on the other side of it. And in that beautiful future, there shall be no more death, nor sorrow, nor crying. There shall be no more pain, for the former things have passed away. Revelation 21:4. That's something worth preparing for. Dear Heavenly Father, you are the creator of all things and you sustain all of life. I come to you, acknowledging that your will is best and that your plan is far greater than any I could ever ask for or imagine. Lord, I come to you with troubles that are weighing on my heart and the hearts of many believers. God, I know that you carry all burdens, and I ask that you share your yoke with us now during this difficult time. Amen. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more videos.